What's up, YouTube? It's Brittany,
Fuchsia,
and you're watching Brown Skin Sisters.
Okay, so today we're gonna go a little bit more on the serious side. And I'm really gonna try. We're gonna try to stay neutral in this. So if it seems like we have lack of emotion, we're not. It's just we're trying to lean more to the logic than the emotional side. Yeah. So please bear with us on this video.
Plus, we've done some serious topics, I feel, on this channel already. So
on May 25th, 2020, George Floyd was killed by ex-cop Derek Chauvin when he kneeled on his neck and back for 9 minutes and 29 seconds. Mm-hmm. There were also 3 other cops there, and I know one stood guard while the other 2 were helping the other cop hold George Floyd down when he was in handcuffs that were behind his back and he was restrained. Because apparently, according to them, he was resisting arrest. And from what I hear, when he went to the grocery store, which I'm assuming is where he was close to where he lived,
was store clerk, grocery store?
I think so, or a gas station. It was
convenience store.
Convenience store, yeah, it was probably a convenience store. But the store clerk is the one who called the police because he thought that George Floyd gave him a fraudulent $20 bill.
Mm-hmm. Which we still don't know if that was
nobody went back and checked
or a fake one. So
yeah,
if you guys know the answer to that, let us know, because I looked for the answer, and some people are saying it was fake, some people are saying it was real, so it's kind of like a back and forth. So it's like, okay, who's telling the truth?
I want it to be verified whether or not that bill was,
as if that even matters.
It doesn't. It really doesn't. There's no way. I just want to clarify that
there's
no way to justify this. It's really not, because this is a human being that was killed by another human being unjustifiably. He was unarmed. He was restrained, even though they said he was resisting, and he still got killed.
I mean, based on the video, I have seen the video.
Yeah, I've seen the video too.
Based on the video, he was struggling a lot. George Floyd was struggling a lot, but you also have to, like, put yourself in his shoes as well. If you were in that predicament and you were getting strained and pulled down to the ground, how would you react? You know, so it's like, we really can't judge because we don't know, like, 100% how he felt, but we're just basing it off of what we see in the video.
Yeah.
And also other people's interpretation of it.
His pleas and cries for help and saying that he couldn't breathe. That, like, I know that is really, for all of us who've watched the video, I know that's, like, heart-wrenching and what really, like, just makes you want to lose it, because you're like, okay, this man was crying for help. And the people who are called as first responders to help him and are supposed to defuse the situation did not do their job. And it resulted in his death. Which is why I understand why people are angry. The cops are the cops.
But also, I think in the footage, Derek was told multiple times to get off of him. And even George Floyd was stating that he couldn't breathe in the video multiple times. So the fact that he really felt obligated to stay on him just showed, like, how much privilege he as a cop has.
Or had, because he's not
a cop anymore. Well, I mean, at the time, we say has, because officially, of course, now he is, on his way to prison. We don't know exactly how much time he'll get. And I think that a lot of people were very, very happy and very, very excited. And I think mostly because we've seen this before, right? We've seen it where cops are killing people and nothing has been done. Specifically, white cops are killing black people and nothing has been done. But if it was, vice versa, nothing like this would have happened. I also seen a video. I actually had to show you this video, but I was watching this video. I'll leave her link and also her name right here, maybe like a little snippet of the video.
We'll leave all the links to each of these videos.
But in the video, she was just stating that there was also another person who got kneeled down and also died the same way George Floyd did, but he was a non-black person. And
was it the homeless Mexican guy?
Maybe. I think. Yeah, maybe. I'm not too sure, but I just watched the video like one time.
Because I did see another video like that, but he was a homeless guy.
And they was like comparison George Floyd and this guy.
The similarities were
and it's like the same thing happened to him, but there was like no uproar as much as it is with George Floyd. And I think when it comes to that's why they knew that they had to really, like, put him in prison and in jail, because you see how everybody reacted after George Floyd's death, which is valid. I'm not saying that it's not valid, because nobody deserves to die like that.
Yeah, no one.
And But after George Floyd died, all that stuff happened. The riots happened. A lot of stuff went down. And I think that, lots of protests. And I think that if they wouldn't have never found this person guilty as he should have been found guilty, that they knew deep down that it was going to be even more hectic, even more crazy. So
our country would.
They did the right thing.
It would have.
I feel like if they wouldn't have done that, it would have been way worse. Y'all thought that was worse? No.
I was really nervous about that too. Like, we all wanted him. I was like hoping so hard that he got convicted, because I'm like, if y'all don't convict this man, y'all gonna have
a lot of issues.
This our entire country would have went down the toilet.
Yeah.
With that one, if he had not been convicted, because even then, the sentencing is very important. It hasn't happened yet. It's supposed
which is even more scary. When's the date? You say? Didn't you say June
16th? Yeah, it's June 16th is when he's going back for sentencing. Y'all, he needs to get a good amount of time for people to really be satisfied, and rightly so, because he killed another human being.
I think we did the first step, which is get him arrested, get him tried,
convicted. Yeah.
Now it has to be finished as far as how much time, and I think they can't be lenient on the time
at all. I think any cop that kills somebody unjustifiably and feels like they have cop privilege should be punished to the full extent of the law. I don't care what color you are. You do something bad, you need to be punished for it.
Yeah.
Especially when it results in somebody else's death. Like, no, we shouldn't still be on this kick where, they're this color, so we'll be lenient. No, we shouldn't still be doing that. That should have been abolished.
History shows itself as far as things that happen like this, because time and time again we've seen it where, white cops have killed
people,
minorities, and there was nothing done. There was not enough time given to the people who did it. And so now we are trying to push past that, you're not going to get enough time. They're not going to get enough time. And it doesn't really serve justice as far as the family goes, because at the end of the day, George Floyd was still a person, and he has family. He has a daughter, and he has a wife, and you got to really start thinking outside of just that person in itself. Of course, I don't think cops really think about that, because I think they spend so much time in their power that
it goes completely.
It just goes, it just goes. And I think not any person, but I assume that when people get power, they use it, and it's up to them to decide whether or not if they use it good or badly. Yeah. So
I feel like the lack of punishment when they do these type of things
is what keeps it going. Yeah,
killing innocent people, mostly people of color, with no justifiable reasons, and them not being punished for that. I think that largely, maybe not largely, but partly contributes to why it keeps happening. Because nothing is being done. There's no consequence half the time when this happens, and the system is broken. We need to fix it.
I think that with the system being the way it is, even then, I think like Black people are also hesitant to call the cops now. Like, if something is happening to them, they're not as comfortable calling, because things like this can happen.
They feel like it'll result in the death, and
the cashier who took the $20 bill from George Floyd, stated that he didn't mark it. I believe he said that he didn't mark it. They have the markers where you can mark it to see if it's real or fake. He didn't mark it. And when he went to his manager, and after all of that happened, and, George Floyd was killed, he felt a lot of guilt, because then, as a Black person himself, he was like, had I not called the cops, any of this would have happened. And so, that puts in everybody's mind, most definitely Black people's mind, that even if you call the cops, there is a chance that you can be killed by the cops as well. So that's an even more bigger fear than that fear itself, that fear that's right in front of your face at the time. Which brings us into the next story. We wanted to put both of these stories together, which is
because
they're similar, of course.
They're similar, and each of them connect to each other in one way or the other.
So I believe her name was Makhia.
Yeah, Makhia Bryant.
Makhia Bryant was killed outside her foster care home. And She was shot by a cop, a white cop to be specific. I'm pretty sure you guys already know about this, but she was shot defending herself. What they say, she was defending herself. She did have a knife, and she was on her way to stab another black woman who was the daughter of the actual foster care parent who's watching and taking care of Makhia. I don't know all the details. I've seen a lot of videos, but you know, after a while, all the information just gets jumbled up, and so it's just like too much for me. Like, I think I've started to like back off from watching these type of videos. I think I'm just tired of watching it. Like, I go on my Facebook. I rarely go on my Facebook for real now, because you know, when stuff like this happen, it's literally like shared everywhere on every platform. Your whole social media feed is just there. And I think that it takes a toll on black people. And after a while, I just can't watch any more of it. I just get so sick of, you know, hearing stuff about it, and I just don't want to watch it. But I did watch that video from a perspective of the cops' view as well as the neighbor's view, because you know they have two different views. And when it comes to the Makhia, a lot of people are saying, well, you know, it shows that she was the aggressor. And so a lot of people have a lot of different opinions on the video. A lot of people are like, well, you know, he did that in self-defense because she was about to stab another girl. And so it's kind of like back and forth. Like, some people are like, yeah, you know, maybe she didn't deserve to get shot, but there had to been somehow it needed to be de-escalated. And I'm neutral. Like, I don't want to say this. I don't want to say that. It's just a lot of different stories. And we don't really know the full extent to the truth. And no matter if it's written down on news or if it's in articles, we don't really know 100% what actually happened. We don't know if the girls were inside the home at the time and jumped her inside the home and they came outside. Like, we don't really know because we weren't there. You know what I mean? Even at that point, the cops weren't there. But I mean, based on like listening to the audio, like as they call the cops and things like that, it could be turned in a lot of different ways. And I think naturally, because so much has happened in our black community, that anytime that we see a white cop shooting at a black person, it automatically comes off as racial. And I'm not the judge for that. I really don't know. All I know is what I see. But I'm neutral. Like, I don't really talk about it on social media except for this video, of course. But I've been really silent in the sense of not really knowing like how to feel emotionally, like not knowing if this is the right way to feel or if this is the right way to feel. So I stay neutral. That's honestly just what it is.
I stay neutral, like, emotionally wise. I try to like lean more into the logic to like really look at the facts, so I can come to a good conclusion. And on social media, I'm not gonna say I'm completely a justice warrior, but I do engage. Like, when people talk about it, I do engage and, you know, read and try to, you know, like really look at the gravity of the situation, because if you don't look at the problem, you won't know what the solution is so you can fix the problem. So that's why I just keep, you know, when we see these topics, I like do research that you should be doing. I do that as much as possible so I can know, okay, what do we need to do? Where should we go from here? And we already know where we need to go. We need a leveled playing field. Everybody should have the opportunity, physically, emotionally, financially, spiritually, to do whatever they want to do with their life so that they could live the way they should. Life. Not in poverty, pretty much. We shouldn't, because poverty is just poverty and criminal crimes. The crime thing is, I
think that like all this is just going to happen in our world. And the whole point is we need to figure out what side we want to be on. Are we going to be the ones that stand and record? Or are we going to be the ones to actually do something? Are we going to, like, this is basically how it should be. Like, you should figure out what side you want to be on, what side of the fence, because God does not deal in gray areas. And the only reason why I say that I'm neutral is because, like, everything that you put on social media, you really have to be careful. Like, because even if you don't mean it in a certain way, people can take that and make it seem the total opposite of your values and what you say. So, but I mean, like, when it comes to protecting people, like, are we doing enough, you know?
No, I don't feel like
it's like figuring out what we can do to work towards the better, because the truth is that while we're here, you have to take a stance for something, and you have to leave that behind so the next generation can be brave enough to do that. And of course, evil will always be here. You can never take evil out of this world as much as you can take good out of this world.
And that's what good is for.
So all we have to do is fight for our good while we're here, of course.
I'm here for it. I'm here for the change. Whatever we need to do, let's do it. Everybody does their part, and then everybody will be happy with the result. I know that that's so vague, but I'm just saying, like, as far as fixing the system, there are a bunch of nooks and crannies that we need to fill up, and problems that need to be fixed, especially with the racial injustice. We need to start there.
Do you feel terrified of going outside after, like, seeing so many videos, especially, like, being in cars?
No,
walking?
I'm not terrified of going outside. I'm terrified of being pulled over or having a situation that involves a cop. That's what I'm terrified of. And really, it's not all cops. This is gonna sound so bad. I know it's not all cops, but when I see a white male cop, I instantly feel fearful. The fear instantly comes on me when that happens. Like, it doesn't happen every time, but I've noticed that it's happened one too many times, and I can usually tell by their demeanor whether or not they're up to no good. And when I get a bad feeling about a cop is when I start to get fearful. Like, are we gonna make it home? Like, why is he pulling us over? What?
It definitely limits,
am I safe with this police officer? Yeah,
like, some days I want to go out and I want to, like, do as much as possible in that one day, and some days I don't want to do it because, well, if you should say, like, it's really, like, in front of your face. Like, it's really, like, worrying if I'm gonna get that bad cop that day, or, you know, if I'm gonna do something to set someone off, you know. And it's really not a good way to live, honestly. Like,
we shouldn't have to live in fear.
Yeah, it's like I look at white people and I'm just like, they have it a little easy. Like, well, they have it easy. Like, they can go and they can travel and they can go about their day without having to worry about getting pulled over, without having to worry about, like, looking suspicious.
Yeah, I need y'all to understand that as white people. You need to understand the privilege that you have. And honestly, we're gonna make a video about white privilege.
that some of them really do know their privilege.
I know there are some people in that group of that ethnic group. Why can't I talk today? That ethnic group that understand the privilege they have, and they use that privilege to help the minority groups, people of color, to progress and to move up the line so that it's a more equal standing for everyone. And I appreciate you so much for doing that. Continue to do that, because we need that. We always need allies.
Yeah.
But for the white people who
don't want to learn,
they're just, like, up in the clouds, and you don't understand, you don't want to learn, I just know it's wrong.
So I have a question.
Bad things happen when good men do nothing.
Yeah. So
I know that's not the exact words of the phrase, but you know what phrase I'm talking about. Right.
So another topic, about the daycare who was feeding the white kids and not feeding the black kids at the same time. How do you feel about that?
I'm gonna need y'all to get it together. No. If one person eat, every kid eat. It's just like when we were growing up. My mom had 7 kids. Mm-hmm. And we would still bring friends over. Like, our house was literally the hangout. Like, everybody would come to our house, which I was fine with, because I didn't like going outside the house. I was the stay-at-home teenager.
But yeah,
unless my friends was like, come on, let's go out. But yeah, the point is, like, that one eats, all eats. And I learned that as a child growing up, because when my mom brought home food, she brought home food for everybody. It's like, wait, I'm not going to feed just this one kid. No, I'm going to feed everybody. So she just got something that we could all eat. And that's how it should be whenever, especially if you're a daycare provider, you should not be feeding certain kids. These are all children. What is wrong with you?
We have a mixture of different kids in my in-home daycare. We have white, we have biracial, we have completely black, like we've even had Hawaiian before. Like we have a mixture of different kids, and I just could not even imagine doing that to a child like that, like, or children.
Yeah, how I don't understand how you can do that. You feel terrible about it. That is a living human being. What are you doing? Like,
but no. You know, like they say, racism is taught. Like, these kids are not born racist. They are taught these racist ways. They are taught to either consider themselves as higher than, and that's sad. And so, of course, you're breeding new generation of hate. And the kids don't even know where the hate even came from. And you can put hate at the parents' feet. You can put hate at whoever the parent even allowed the kids to be around as well too. And you know what, that video made me think of the previous video. But in the video, the black kids were showed dolls, and they showed a white doll, and they showed a black doll. And of course, black kids and the lighter skin or the white dolls were good, and the dark skin were bad. That is how you can teach kids, right?
Yeah, because they're being taught that, and it's still being.
And this is the same thing. If you ask me, it's showing them that white is superior and you're not,
which is not true. Nobody is superior. We're all human beings. We all bleed red. We are all on the same field. Yes, social classes and racial classes, that's really what it is. It's just division, trying to make you feel like you're lesser than, so you act lesser than, and you get less. It shouldn't be like that. We should all have what we need in order to have a good life.
Because even we said, like, if we were to be rich overnight, or if we were to start making money, like we literally be sitting in the car talking about all the things that we would do. Like, we would like build, a house for homeless people. We would have like a whole little area for them. We would help them get up on their feet. And I mean, talking is very cheap, Yeah. Anybody can say what they're going to do. Anybody could just spew that out. But
I really think we should do that. Like, I mean, even if you don't have the funds, if you know somebody or you can get in contact with someone who has connection, I think anyone who makes more than $500,000 a year, anyone who is in that income bracket and above, I think all should come together, and all of the poverty stricken areas, like in Kansas City and all of the hood, everywhere, as people say, everywhere in the world, we should be fixing our own backyard. We should
everybody has a hood, regardless of where they live. Yeah, like, everybody has a hood.
Yeah, I think we should rebuild down here, and we should just fix everything, like fix the education system, fix the job market, fix the real estate market, like all of those markets that we were sit on the lower shelf of. We should come back down here, pump the money that needs to be put in these areas, and fix them. Why are we? I hate, now that I understand what was going on, when a person of color moves out to the white neighborhood. I hate when we do that, because I'm like, you're leaving your people behind. Like, I hate to put that kind of pressure on you, but it's the truth. Instead of fixing where you came from, your home, instead of fixing there and getting other people who have the same financial ability that you do together, and you pumping money into the area that was just tossed aside. So how do you feel
about the Black Lives activists who moved into all white?
You're talking about Patrisse Cullors
neighborhood?
Yes, Patrisse Cullors. A sweetheart.
I really I'm neutral. I don't really know how to even answer that, because I'm not her.
Against you, but sweetie, you should have never done that.
I don't know. It's her money. I don't.
The optics look bad.
Officially,
let's just say that.
I mean, that's what the problem is, that it looks bad on her, because she's an activist of Black Lives Matter, and so it's like,
instead of putting the money back into the community that helped,
we don't really know. But that's the problem. Like, we don't really know exactly all the things that she's done.
We don't know all the things.
So we can't really be so quick to judge.
Okay,
and say,
from the way it looks, it looks
the antics looks bad. That's what it is.
Instead of moving away from the problem, you should have pumped money into the problem to fix it. That's what should have happened. And that's the bottom line.
I don't know.
I'm saying that from a neutral point. I'm not
in her everyday life.
I'm just saying that's what you should have did.
I don't know everything that she has done. I just don't know. I mean, I honestly don't even put money into like movements. Honestly, you never know like where the money goes. Just like I don't put money in churches because I don't believe that they're doing 100% what they are supposed to do with the money. Now, am I there holding their hand throughout this thing? Am I there to specifically see what they're doing? No. So that's why I'm just like, I don't really know all the things that she's done. I mean, I've never put any money in Black Lives Matter, honestly. I would do it individually, but... Was
that a Black Lives Matter protest we went to? Remember
That was George Floyd.
That was George Floyd? Okay, yeah. We've
only
been to one. That was
only one.
And even then, I stayed at a distance because I don't trust cops. So I was like, if something gets set off, I'm not getting hit with pepper spray bullets and nothing. So we're gonna stay far away and film it. Like, honestly, I don't have anything against protests, but I feel like they don't do enough to solve the problem. Protests, I feel like they've kind of served their purpose, and that we should like really, really dig in deep. We should do I hate to say it this way. We should do what white people do, how they completely engross themselves in whatever they want to take over and take it over. I know it sounds bad.
When you say it like that,
I know it sounds bad, but it's true.
But you see how
when they wanted to invade and they wanted to control something, they studied it. They intercepted into it and then they took over. Why don't we do that? Why, like, when I say that, I don't mean invade. Listen, hear me out.
You said took over, so those words mean invade.
I know it sounds bad, but it's what they did. I'm not sugarcoating this, all right? What I mean is, for us, we want movie theaters. We want more jobs. We want more places to live. We want to be able to work, eat, live, and chill wherever we want to. Instead of moving away from your sanctuary, where you were born and where you live, and going out to the richer part of the side, which is where usually white people are, you should stay where you are, come together with a bunch of like-minded people who have the funds that you need, and also bring in other allies who can also shuffle in the money that you need, and fix up your community. All the things that are out there that you want, bring it to your community. Why don't we just do that? Like, I don't understand why we won't. I know we need money to do that. That's what I'm saying. Why don't we just come together, get the funds we need, and pump that money back into the community that we came from? Like, I don't understand why we don't do that. Maybe people have, I'm sure somebody out there has thought of this idea. They just lack the connections they need in order to make it happen. Let's make it happen. I don't want to have to move all the way out to eat Jesus nowhere just to get what I want.
Jesus nowhere.
You know what I meant? I don't want to have to do that. I want to stay where I am, where my origins are, and fix that up instead. Like, let's make our own avenue, our own sanctuary, okay? Like, I don't understand.
I think you can live where you want to, and you can also fix up.
I think we should fix up.
I don't hold anybody accountable for wanting to move wherever they want to move. Of course, it's harder for Black people because we live in a world where racism exists.
If you want to hold yourself accountable, you can.
We try not to move into those communities because we know that eventually you will come up against a racist person.
Yeah, and that's another reason. That's another... unrelated, but it's still technically kind of related. When, like, in school, like in the education system, when the person of color moves their children out to the predominantly white schools, and something racist happens, I'm like, the same idea that I was like, we should fix up the community. I mean, the same thing for the schools. I feel like we should, instead of the poverty-stricken schools that have textbooks that are like years old and it's not updated to where it should be. We should fix that too. Update it. Give us the same education that you would if you were in a private school. Like, public schools should be just as advanced as private schools.
I feel like I didn't learn a lot in school.
I feel like I learned
after I got out of school.
I'm still learning, and a lot of things I'm relearning because I'm like, okay, they did not prepare us like they said they did, and that's why I am angry at the public school system, but at the same time, we have to.
I ain't gonna lie.
At the same time, I have to kind of blame myself because I should have been
I
doing the research on my own as well. I should have really dug in, and that's what I'm doing now. Because I'm like, okay, I didn't do that then. I'm gonna do it now because I should have did it then. But you know,
yeah. But thank you guys so much for watching. We literally gave y'all like a few extra topics.
Yeah,
it was only meant to be like the only first two, but. Thank y'all so much for watching.
Brown Skin Sisters.
We'll see you guys in our next video. Be sure to subscribe, share, like, and comment. And if you have any video ideas that you want us to talk about, topics, it doesn't matter if they're simple topics.
Yeah, just leave them in the comments.
High up topics. Like, sometimes I try to shy away from politics and, you know, the George Floyd type of videos because sometimes doing the research just makes me feel overwhelmed and I just don't want to say the wrong thing. I don't want to put the wrong information out. And so I'm just like, because even then, like sometimes you can't even trust what you read because that can also not be true. So it's like, it's very like,
you gotta really dig
it's like
when you're looking for
difficult.
Information. You gotta verify it, like triple time.
Those topics are very difficult for me. Yeah. But I mean, you probably see topics like this, like once a month or something like that, because my mind is, I'm not prepared for it. Even if I do prepare, I just forget everything that I just already educated myself on.
Let's talk about the problem.
It's gonna take me like a few months to get all the information for one video because I don't know. But anyway, again, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.
Bye. Come back.